This Chronomancer build has all the tools you need to survive. Time freeze, big explosions, and enough sustain to keep you well into the long game. So if you enjoy something unique and fun, then look no further. Let's get started. So for this build, I tried to really simplify everything so that any player, whether you're new or whether you're experienced, can really understand how the build works. But more importantly, if you ever wanted to add more to it to yourself, you could do so. So that being said, we're going to kick things off with, of course, the Temporal Rift and Time Freeze, two of the main components of the Chronomancer Ascendancy. And why I've chosen this Ascendancy is primarily because of these. So Temporal Rift is really cool because what it does is it allows you to essentially get yourself out of hot water. Those situations where you're being bombarded by enemies, or let's say you're in a boss battle and you make one little mistake or two, Temporal Rift can be your get out of jail free card. And so I have Clarity right now just to maintain our mana regen. Time Freeze is awesome as well. Time Freeze is another staple in the build. And what it does is it freezes time itself, allowing you to effectively take care of enemy mobs much more effectively, deal with bosses more efficiently, and essentially ensure that you survive for longer periods of time. So here we're currently rocking with Persistence, which ensures that the duration of time for Time Freeze lasts longer, and Ingenuity, which means that we have a faster cooldown recovery rate, which is always good. Because typically, by default, the Time Freeze is quite long as far as its cooldown. This currently gives it a nice 44 seconds. Without it, you're looking at 57 seconds. So it's a pretty sizable increase to your cooldown, so make sure to use this. Next, we have Explosive Grenade. So crossbow playing a big role in the build as well. This is where most of your damage is going to be coming from. So Explosive Grenade, we have Fire Exposure, Scatter Shot, Fire Infusion, and Ignition. The most important one here is Scatter Shot, since it does give you ample resource to work with. You got 4 grenades. Well, of course, once you build into the build, you can get more. But currently, in this current build that I have roughly 4 on the floor. And so therefore, every time you shoot out, you're going to get 4 per shot, which gives you a total of 4, 8, 12, 16 bombs on the floor. So that's a lot of damage you can pull off. And of course, if you really master your cooldowns, you'll be able to get a lot more out of that. So next up, we have Explosive Shot, and we have Martial Tempo, as well as Primal Armament. So this is just going to ensure that we increase our fire damage and we attack much faster, since this is what's going to help us to ignite our explosive grenades much faster, and therefore giving us more opportunity to just consistently apply damage over time. And then we tie this all together with Oil Grenade, and this is awesome because when you are in a situation where you need to slow things down, Oil Grenade can do that for you. And we have Magnified Effect, Strip Away, as well as Encumbrance. Now, Oil Grenade is great because what it does is it slows people down, it applies fire exposure, and that allows you to therefore ignite enemies with much more ease, which comes into play with Explosive Grenade and Explosive Shot. So all these 3 in tandem are effective for dealing with adds, but also dealing with bosses with ease. Next up is Time of Need. Now, Time of Need is an optional one that you can either keep with the build or not. I've chosen it because what this does is it invokes Divine Blessings to heal you and remove curses alongside elemental ailments. This is great because in the end game, where you're going to be bombarded by numerous enemies that have numerous elemental resources and curses that can be applied to you, this is really good. And so we're rocking with Fast Forward just to make sure that the duration is shorter, and therefore your cooldown will be quicker, allowing you to activate your blessings much faster. And then last, this is a unique one. This one again is an optional resource that you can use, but this is kind of like a conditional, or rather a situational gem to use, and that is the Elemental Invocation. And we have Firestorm, Solar Orb, as well as Impetus on this one currently. So I just wanted to ensure that we have more fire damage overall. So Firestorm is great to deal with adds, and then Solar Orb is just there to once again apply some damage over time when you're on the battlefield. And that's about it really as far as the support gems and skill gems. Once again, I wanted to keep things very simple. I didn't want to overcomplicate the build. This, of course, is still very much a progressive build in that there are so much ways you can really amplify the damage and ensure that you can just survive for long periods of time. So that being said, we're going to jump into the skill tree and I'll showcase that as well. So of course, the first thing that you want to do when you are playing Chronomancer is of course to choose Chronomancer when you ascend, and you want to be choosing the 4 nodes on the left, that being buff expire rates ×2, as well as your footprints in the sand and ultimate command. Those 2 will give you your respective temporal rift and time freeze. Now of course, if you want to expand even further into endgame, it is up to you what you want to choose, but of course these are the most notable that you want to get your journey started. Now, as far as the rest of the tree is concerned, I'll zoom out to kind of give you a glimpse of what I've focused on. So basically, I tried to go for things like spell damage, more fire damage, some extra life regen, more fire damage. Then, of course, we go into some physical damage to boost our damage overall. And then, of course, more importantly, we want to have some grenade damage. So if you can find nodes that are all about grenades and giving you more AoE, these are of course your more notable options. Then also you want to have some reload speed for your crossbow to make things faster, more fluid. Next, you want to go all the way down to the bottom and you want to try and max out as much as you can with the crossbow nodes as well. Now, if you can go full out and completely finish off the entire crossbow section, I just focus primarily on the crossbow reload speed because this to me is really, really important. The faster you shoot and reload, the better for DPS. And then lastly, I focus as well on attack damage against rare and unique enemies. This is going to really help you tremendously into the end game, but also into the campaign as well if you are new to the game. And that's pretty much it. We also have some fire damage again, but you want to just focus on those particular areas. For offense, defense, you can look into other nodes that give you more life regen, more sustain. You typically want to do things like maybe projectile damage if you're looking to expand even further. But if you're looking for something that's quick and just gets you straight to the end game, these particular nodes will definitely get you there. And once you are there, you can refine as you go. So that being said, let's move on and wrap things up with the items and weapons. So as this build is a work in progress, once again, I just wanted to share it with all of y'all to inspire you to perhaps try it out and give you some reason to think outside the box with regards to the Chronomancer build. So with regards to this, my crossbow, you want to be looking for physical damage, which then converts into fire damage. Some attack speed's great, accuracy is good, and some additional leech can also be nice to survive over the long term. The most important thing here though is the brimmed helm. I think this might raise some eyebrows when people see it, but the reason for this is because for this particular build, we are utilizing every attribute: strength, dexterity, and intelligence, because we have spells and strength and dexterity do play into our crossbow. So this allows us to essentially really sustain ourselves well into the end game, giving us an even distribution of points. And technically we're only losing 1 per level, which means that we're only gaining 4 additional attribute points if you're looking to invest into one particular attribute at a time. So it's not that big of a deal. It can really help you long term, because right now I currently have just about everything except for dexterity over 100, and this was pretty easy to do just because of the helmet itself. And then next we have our amulets, and you want to be looking for things like strength. Any attribute boosts you can get is always great. Some armor, some evasion is always nice, and most importantly some resistances. As you saw just now, my fire resistance wasn't the greatest, but that's just because I couldn't find anything that really gave me a reasonable amount to work with. Next up, you want to look for fire damage to attacks. Any max mana is great. Once again, more boost to your attributes and some more resistances. The jacket, look for things like evasion, some energy shield and evasion. Some stun threshold can be also good. For your gloves, if you want, you can look for some attack speed. That also is great. Some leeching is always nice. More max mana. For your belt, this is also, optional. I've gotten this plate belt here, which gives me more armor, just makes me a bit more tanky, because normally the sorceress slash witch classes are quite weak defensively, so just adding some extra armor to it is always nice. And then we also have some movement speed, which is really, really imperative in the end game for just staying away from enemies. More armor, more max life, stun threshold is always great. And then here for your mana flasks, you want to just have charges per second every time. Just make sure that you have this, as it always helps you later on into the game, where you don't have to worry so much about your flash running out for you. And that is pretty much it. This is all you really have to focus on. As long as you can get a really good crossbow that gives you an additional grenade if possible. You don't have to, because you always have scatter shot. You also have nodes on the skill tree that can really help you to gain more additional grenades over time. And so that's about it. So if you have any questions about the build, or if you want to share your comments down in the comment section, be sure to do so. And as always, new warriors, stay strong, keep fighting, and may the force be with you all, always. Until next time, take care. And if you want to take part in the community, be sure to join Discord. Shoutouts to Advanced GG for all their supplements. Check out their website for more, and I'll see you on the next one.